Expedition 33 has sold over 2 million copies in not even 2 weeks.
Wow.
So we gotta talk about Expedition 33. Now I know I've talked about this game at length in previous videos, but I feel like this really is a game changer. Like, reaching 1 million copies sold, mind you, in just 3 days originally was very impressive, but the fact that they've now sold over 2 million copies despite this game being out on Game Pass as well is just insane to me. And it should be insane to everybody else as well. It's a really good thing. So today I want to talk about why this is a good thing for the industry and why this might lead to some changes, maybe some painful changes, but changes nonetheless. First of all, let's pop on over to Metacritic and check out the score for the game, where it stands right now at a 9.7 in universal acclaim. And that is the user ratings. On the critic reviews, it's 92. Still, that is insanely high. This, again, mind you, is a game that was made roughly by 30 devs, the core team that is, with a bunch of reviews here that are absolutely glowing, and I can't do anything other than agree with most of these reviews. I've checked out most of them to see what they're saying here, and it's just and just generally it's one of the most beloved games of all time as of right now. Like, even an open critic, it's the same thing. It's sitting at 92. Now, it's not rated as the best game of all time over on open critic, but it's basically the same score. It's absolutely insane here. Now, what is even crazier here is that this game is supposedly the fastest selling turn-based RPG, or well, that's made in a JRPG style. And for a game that is pretty much like a JRPG in ways, that is incredibly impressive. Like, it's beating Metaphor ReFantasio's Steam peak, despite being on Game Pass. Again, it's crazy. Now, if we take a quick look over on SteamDB, we can see that the game had a concurrent player count of 145,063 people at the same time. That is, again, huge for a game of this size, or that's made by a team this small. Now, there seems to be a downward slope right now, obviously, because it's a new week again, but I'm guessing that this is gonna pop off towards the weekend again. I think a lot of people are rolling off of Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, a bunch of other games to try this out. Like, I think a lot of people, probably some of you guys in the comment section as well, could agree that you maybe weren't super interested in this game. Maybe it wasn't the first thing that you thought that you were gonna play this month, but then, you know, people like me told you to try it out, and now you tried it out, and now you can't let go, and now you're emotionally devastated for the rest of the year.
Like me.
Anyway, another big news piece here is that the French president himself, Emmanuel Macron, I don't know how to say it, but Macron, he congratulated them personally on their success over on Instagram. Yeah, I mean, there is really no bigger honor, I feel, than that, than having like the leader of your country go and say like, yeah, I'm proud of you guys. You did something incredibly special here. That is really cool. Like, I can't imagine the pride that the devs feel in themselves right now. Like, I know that I would. Now, one big topic that people are talking about right now is the reason for why Expedition 33 exists in the first place, and that is because the director, Guillaume Broche, I think that's how you say it, or Guillaume, he had already had an idea for this game when he was working at Ubisoft. So in case you didn't know, a lot of the people that work at Sandfall are previous Ubisoft employees, and the director here, he had the idea for Expedition 33, but he couldn't really pitch it to the company because it would take way too long to pitch it, and he left to do it. He literally left a cushy job at Ubisoft to make another game because he was bored working at Ubisoft. I don't know, if that isn't a slap to the face, then I don't really know what is. I could understand his position though, because if he's one of those people or one of those devs that has a lot of creative ideas, but he can't really do anything because of it, because, you know, Ubisoft is trying to keep the cash cow running with like Assassin's Creed and Far Far Cry and games like that. And so, you know, what other choice does he really have other than to leave the company and start his own? And that's exactly what he did. What an absolute boss. He grew bored and he just left. Now, the crazy thing about this, like a lot of the talent that he has on his team on Sandfall, like a lot of them are very junior. Like, yes, there are people there that have worked at Ubisoft, but several of them are like super junior people. Like, they haven't been in game development for too long. Like, several people were actually recruited through Reddit, of all places. So for example, the composer behind the absolutely amazing, wonderful music that makes you want to cry when you hear it, Lorien Testard, he was found through SoundCloud. Like, he wasn't a big artist or somebody who was relatively well known or anything like that. He was just found on SoundCloud. It's like this guy, this director, he seems to have an eye for talent, man. Like, he seems to know what he's doing when he's recruiting these people. Now, it's pretty obvious that Sandfall wasn't really expecting this kind of success, because if you take a look over at their official Twitter for Expedition 33, they tweeted, "We are currently the top reviewed game on Metacritic for 2025. Speechless. So many incredible games have been released this year. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." And I mean, you couldn't really anticipate this type of success, especially when The Elder Scrolls Remastered came out the same week. So a lot of people thought that the game would be buried. I was hoping that the game wasn't gonna be buried. And well, it wasn't, thank God, because this game deserves all the success it's getting. Again, like, this is such a huge win for the industry. This is such a huge win for you, like for me, for all the gamers out there, that we can see this happen. You know, they made an award-winning game, essentially. I can bet you that this game is gonna win a ton of awards, like, absolutely. Like, I can definitely see this going on basically like a trip like Baldur's Gate 3 did. Like, they're gonna win awards all over. This is such a huge win because it proves that you don't need this massive big studio of hundreds of developers to make a game. Again, I've been saying this for a while now, especially since Larian's breakout with Baldur's Gate 3. Like, we're seeing a shift here. Smaller studios, sometimes started by just a handful of passionate devs, are making some of the best games out there. You have Expedition 33 and others just all punching way above their weight. Obviously, like, Unreal Engine 5 is part of that. I know some of you like to take dumps on Unreal Engine 5, but this game would not have been possible if they didn't use Unreal Engine 5. But the tech, it just generally works. You know, if you have a good set of team members, a good set of devs, you can make it work, because it let this team bring their vision to life without needing 500 people on staff. Plus, you know, with tools like AI helping streamline boring development processes, like, smaller teams can move faster than ever. This is something that Sven Vinke, you know, the boss over at Larian, actually talked about recently in a video that I actually also covered, how Larian uses AI to cut down on repetitive tasks in animation workflows, for example. So none of the artistic stuff, it just removes those bits that aren't very interesting. Now, we don't know if Expedition 33 actually was developed through using AI techniques, but since it was made in Unreal Engine 5, I would assume so, because it has a lot of those tools to make development smoother and easier. And I think this is kind of where we're headed in game development, really. I think this is where we're going. A space where, you know, smaller studios can thrive without the overhead. And of course, that also means more layoffs at the top, because big publishers are realizing they don't need massive headcounts to get results. You know, even Sven talked about the importance of scaling responsibly, making sure everyone on your team has something meaningful to work on. And that's why Expedition 33 really matters. Because it's a shift, it's like a proof of concept, right? I think a lot of publishers are looking at this game and they're like rethinking how they do things. And sure, that might come with growing pains. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but we're gonna see more layoffs. But at the same time, it could be the start of something better, like a kind of renaissance for RPGs or gaming just in general. Like, we're getting some of the best games ever made right now, like from teams that just a few years ago would have been laughed out the room for trying to compete. Expedition 33 is right now scoring basically the same as Baldur's Gate 3. Let that sink in for a moment. Now, we also got to talk about one big factor here to why the game is so successful, and something that I appreciate a lot, and that's the fact that the game is not 60, 70 bucks, it's 50 bucks. It was even less than that when the game released. They literally discounted the game on Steam and pretty much every platform. With like 10% on release, it was like 40 bucks for me when I got it. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? No microtransactions, there are no battle passes, nothing. Nothing. It's just a full game, just like Baldur's Gate 3, just like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, just like, these games. It's like we're getting a renaissance. We're making a comeback with these games. Like, you're getting so much value for that amount of money, and it's just 50 bucks, man. Like, at full price, it's 50 bucks. Are there problems with the game? Obviously, there are small issues, but it's nothing major. Maybe some of the facial animations really aren't as realistic as something like The Last of Us 2, remastered, or something like God of War Ragnarok from Santa Monica or something like that. But it's still on a high level, and it's really, really impressive. Overall, I'm not going to stop glazing this game, guys, but yeah, next video is probably going to be about something else. Don't sleep on this game. Get it as soon as you can. Take care of yourselves and see you in the next video. Mr. Holton signing off.